feelings will come up. And then we get engaged in the feeling, and then we make decisions based on those feelings, or we go forth and act or interact with our coworkers based on these feelings that we made up in our mind. And I thought, no, this is crazy. I feel my feelings. They are the real thing. And there's no way this is going to be helpful. And
so
what
engaging the feeling of your thinking is like addressing the emotions that your narrative in your head is bringing up. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And I was like, okay, I'm going to find out if there's any merit in this. And I was on a plane. There were some people getting on the plane, and there was like 2 seats left. And there was like their baggage had to go up, and they wanted to sit together. They were going to have to talk to somebody. Can you feel like the angst that I had? And like, oh, the flight attendant's going to get mad. We're going to not leave on. All of this stuff was happening inside my head. Quietly, I'm sitting in my spot, and I caught it. And I was like, wait a minute. Is this the feeling that's real, or is this the feeling that's coming from the story I'm telling? And sure enough, I was like, wait a minute. These are 2 very capable people. They're putting their stuff up, and then we're going to go. And I was like, oh, that's real. Like that, like that was the feeling from which I want to go into a meeting or into a room and start having a conversation. Or in that case, like maybe I could have helped them or whatever it was. But it was such a switch that I was like, oh man, if I pay attention to this, if I pay attention to where those feelings are coming from, when I engage in a conversation, I'm going to be more influential. You can't not. So engaging in the feeling of your thinking is one of those treasure troves, I call them, of blind spots that you can learn a lot about yourself.
It is very possible to set up that echo chamber in your head and just kind of sink into negativity instead of going forward, doing some things.
For sure. It could be negative, positive, whatever it is, but like, is it really going to make a difference in what you're trying to make happen in your project or with your team? So
one of the things you've said before is your ability to influence others is directly related to your ability to be influenced. I think a lot of people feel like the opposite is true, that they have to always be the one doing the influencing or they seem weak or something, but you say no.
No, absolutely not. That was another one of those concepts. I'm like, this is crazy. What are you talking about? Just like you were saying. But what I have found to be true is that, wow, like I'm coming forth trying to make a difference. I have an idea about how that can be, right? So this is that imagination of I walk into a meeting and I'm going to present my idea because it's amazing and make a huge difference in how we're doing our work. And everybody's going to be amazed by it and go, yes, Tracy, that's right. Let's go forward. But like that never really happens. So instead, I'm going in with, okay, I have some great ideas. I know this can work, but like now I'm really curious. Like, what do you think? And what is your input? And can you like influence me to see things differently? Because if I can be influenced to see things differently, I don't have to give up my whole great idea. I don't have to give up everything I came into the room with. But if I can be influenced by your perspective, oh my gosh, we're going to come up with something together. Or I'm going to learn something that I didn't know before that might change my approach. And that's exactly what I want you to hear from me when I'm presenting something new, right? I want you to have that same curiosity. So when you are ready to go into a room and present your ideas, you're sitting down next to somebody, not across from them, me against you. That's the heart of the matter here for being more influential.
The really valuable thing about that is that if there are holes to be poked in your idea, like you're not going to see them if you're just busy trying to shove it down people's throats. But
Right?
if you're listening actively for suggestions, then you're going to be able to address these concerns. And ultimately, the whole thing will work out like a lot better.
Right. Or we might come up with something that like we couldn't have come up with it on our own. And that's just magic for a team. Like that is pure influence.
That type of attitude is a lot like continuous learning. You know, people who are curious and are always looking for new skills and things like that. Is continuous learning important to this process at all?
Oh, absolutely. I hear the term growth mindset thrown out quite a bit, especially in the Agile world. And I feel like curiosity is at the heart of the matter for anybody who wants to be influential. And so I'll take that to the next step. So there's another concept I like to call open and closed communication. And this comes from your Infinite Life training and coaching company. I've adopted this from my learning there. And open and closed communication is about when we receive information from someone, are we triggered and reactive, or maybe are we able to take it in and be curious about it, consider it, and continue the conversation from that open perspective. And so this like third tip for how to be more influential is really about self-awareness. When you're being presented with somebody or you're having a conversation and something triggers you, like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy just said that. Or no, you're wrong. Whatever it might be that triggers you, if you notice that trigger, you can give yourself a moment to like sink into it, get really curious so that you can stay open and have an open conversation versus reacting and shutting it down or whatever it is. Our open and closed looks different. Like everybody's reaction or trigger, they're all different. But it's the self-awareness that will help you be more influential in any of the conversations that you're having.
I feel like listening skills have gone by the board. It's like in Pulp Fiction when John Travolta's character is like, do you listen or do you wait to talk? Like most people wait to talk.
Absolutely. Yes. No. Listen. Are you listening to respond or are you listening to understand? Another really great question to ask yourself to help you see, is that a blind spot for me for being as influential as I can or not?
Never mind open and closed communication. That's like no communication. You're just waiting for your chance to talk.
Yeah.
And then it's over. Nobody feels influenced by someone who has not heard them. I think
Oh
that's
my gosh.
universal.
That is so well said. Absolutely. Yeah.
Tracy, thanks so much for joining us today. This is the best project portfolio management show by Appfire. For more episodes, go to hub.appfire.com and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.